Well, ladies and gentlemen, and WNBA and women's basketball fans, one final time. Good evening, WNBA and women's basketball fans, and welcome into a abbreviated half-an-hour edition of the WNBA 365 Network, your 24/7 365 comprehensive home for everything revolving around the WNBA and the rest of the women's basketball world. On what will be, folks, the final night of main hosting duties and the final show to be hosted here from the current Studio 171 in San Diego, folks. This is, sadly, Studio 171's final show, October 6, 2016, on show number 328. With that, folks, joined in the hangout by some old and new faces who you will see take over our network as early as next Monday. Eric Nemchok, the WNBA beat writer from today's Fast Break in Elmhurst, Illinois. Crystal Thomas up in Los Angeles. And our good pal Reagan Patrick joining us from the Gateway City, St. Louis, Missouri. And as mentioned, folks, for the final time, Cal McClure joining you here from Studio 171 in San Diego, one final time. Eric, Crystal, Reagan, good to see you guys tonight. How's it going?
It's going pretty good.
Hey.
And, of course, folks, like normal, just like any other network show, we'll take input, of course, on Facebook, on Twitter, or in our live chat box over on Facebook.com/WNBA365, or on Twitter at WNBA365, at Calimac3, at _rap, RAP24, at Pup1010, or at NimChalkE with the hashtag WNBA365. Or if you are viewing us live tonight, folks, you can write in your questions, comments, or concerns into the chat box on the right corner of your screen, and we'll get to those when we have a momentary break in the action. Eric, KT, and Rap, doing my best to put aside the finals for right now because, of course, this is a kind of a bittersweet day, of course, for me and probably for all of you guys as the leader, the captain of the team can kind of say, of course, again, folks, this is the final time I'll be able to take over and be main host for about the next 4 to 6, roughly up until the Thanksgiving holiday. Of course, I just wrote out what I thought was a pretty heartfelt appreciation letter to everybody in regards to the team that I work with, all of you great fans, our media members and stuff. Again, folks, to reiterate what is going to be happening once more, I'm sure you've caught this on other episodes, but again, as of Monday, I'll be out of my current place here in San Diego. We're getting a whole new mobile home put into our spot here where we're at in San Diego. So we're going to be able to get a little bit more of a bigger place for a studio, but again, I'm working, though, diligently to improve our internet speed and also improve our audio. I know we've had some problems in here most times, either with internet connections, audio problems, what have you. We're trying to get all the little technical difficulties out of the way from at least where the show is normally shot from here in San Diego. So again, I'm going to be out of my place from at least Monday up until maybe the week of Thanksgiving, folks. So in the meantime, the three other people who see us hang out, plus Marquez and Shorty, will be responsible for carrying the load for me. Now, again, folks, this is only goodbye for now, as I said in the open letter. Again, I'm going to be hanging around at some point, or most times when I do get a chance, because again, once Monday hits, I have minor league hockey starting, and then in 2 weeks, indoor soccer season starts for me. So not just is it a break for me from the network, along with my house, but also more important, money in the pockets also begins with work beginning. So again, that's kind of where we stand as of right now. So again, whole new place coming in here, brand new studio. Again, hopefully gonna get some of these problems we've had in the past, such as internet intrusions, audio problems, all of that worked out once we do get a chance. And again, Reagan, I know that you, of course, have kind of been in and out, and I know that you were part of a couple shows here where, of course, the main guy was thrown out of the hangout via internet problems. But again, as I had said, though, to Crystal and Eric and all the rest of the panel a while back is, you know, and I'll get to this as well in my response to my open letter as well, but again, Rap, was maybe early 2014 or during our initial start to the network, this sort of, you know, time off for me would not have happened because, of course, we had so much turmoil and problems with our former broadcast team where we were canceling shows 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour before they were supposed to go on air when we had things to talk about, and we had a very untrustworthy broadcast team. But now, as I had said a while back too, is now that there are 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 other people, you know, yourself, Crystal, Eric, Marquez, Shorty, right down the line, that you guys can, you know, take over. And I have enough faith and trust in you guys to, I guess, kind of carry the load. Now, again, I know that you guys aren't, of course, geared, I guess, as a professional broadcaster or whatnot. But I guess, Reagan, how does it kind of make you feel, though, that you're kind of, you know, a very important person on this panel, again, of sort of keeping this what we have built in 2 years, keeping that alive for about a good 4 to 6 week time. What do you think?
I mean, it's pretty cool. I may not be on the show a lot. Of course, I'm still in school, and it gets pretty busy and stressful sometimes. But while you're gone, I'm gonna try to fill in. Got a couple of ideas. Maybe change just a little bit, just a little bit.
And of course, Crystal, you know me very well, and Eric even knows too. But I'm very open for changes. Of course, Eric, your biggest one, of course, was the start time. Just to kind of point that out. But I guess Crystal, again, I'll kind of re-ask because I'm used to re-asking stuff and the same broken record questions over and over again about your thoughts on a game or whatnot. But I guess again, Crystal, of course, you've kind of been here since day one. Of course, you came on later on in the 2014 season and kind of were with us through the transition period of course, what had happened last year as opposed to now. But then, Crystal, I know, of course, that this kind of really isn't in mostly everybody's field, of course, with the broadcasting or being an analyst or whatnot. But again, Crystal, I guess how do you feel? I guess of having somewhat of an important role for again a pretty long 6 week stretch again kind of being in charge here though of what we have built, of course, and of course what we have built, of course, over the past couple of years.
I wouldn't say I don't know if I'm an important role, but. I'll be the 6th woman of the year. I'll take that. I could be a little Gentle Lavender or something like that. But I think it's pretty cool. I mean, it's cool to do something to talk about a sport you like for fun. And, hopefully it goes well. We'll see what we can do. Maybe we'll have some people pop out of cakes or something for the next episode. Y'all might want to see that. But, it's fun. It's been cool.
So again, Eric, I kind of look to you as kind of like my right-hand man a little bit because, of course, there's been plenty of times where, either I've been away, best example, of course, Eric, is when I was away at the Home Run Derby in July when San Diego had the Major League Baseball All-Star Game in San Diego, and you filled in and you guys did a grand slam quite literally with that lingo, of course. I was able to pop in and kind of give you some thoughts about Lindsey Whalen and the Lynx. But again, Eric, I know that you've been writing, of course, and of course, writing and actually announcing is a little bit of is kind of different, but of course they're in the same type of media field. But again, Eric, like I said, of course, if this was, me and the former co-host, we'd be off air 6 weeks. You'd be complaining to me about where's the coverage been. But now, Eric, I look to you as the right-hand man basically because, of course, you were one of the first people to, of course, chime in my direct message inbox about, can I help out in some capacity? When I have time, and well, I couldn't pick anybody else better to kind of be the secondary guy on here. But I guess, Eric, how do you probably feel about this again, kind of being, somewhat in charge for a couple weeks on end?
Please stop, sir. I'm blushing. No, seriously, it sounds pretty cool. I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to the. Is my volume too high? I'm sorry. I'm looking forward to the opportunity. I think we've got some cool stuff planned. Gonna try to spice things up. Me and Reagan have already been discussing some whirlwind of ideas. We're going to try to keep it away from Crystal as much as possible so she doesn't mess it up. No, but yeah, it's going to be fun. Just trust me. It'll be fun.
With that, folks, we now welcome in one of our original members of the former network branding. And, of course, Tanisha Stewart also joining us up in Los Angeles. Shorty, hopefully your internet won't spaz out here. But first and foremost, how's it going tonight? Good to see you tonight.
Can you hear me first and foremost?
You are good for right now, yes.
Yeah, so, hey, everyone.
Hey.
So again, Shorty, again, we're kind of putting the finals aside for the night, of course, the final show that I'll be able to host and be with you guys as a full-time member, of course, work, home play, school, kicking in, but of course it's more so home improvement plus as well with the jobs kicking. But again, Shorty, as I just said to wrap KT and Eric, of course, and before we kind of move away to some more things again, Shorty, was, when I first had gotten word that we were going to have this little renovation done in my house, was like, okay, maybe this is a good thing for me because it'll give me a chance to, take a break, I guess, from hosting, night in and night out again. This is my 328th show. I've been here since day number one, basically. But again, Shorty, and as I have said plenty of times already, something like this coming up where I would have to go away for a bit, and focus more on, my paying jobs or family or my house, that this could not have happened, a year and a half ago, of course, with how we had so much dysfunction and turmoil and chaos, basically, with our former broadcast team. So again, Shorty, how, I guess, does it feel for you to kind of be somewhat of an important person now that the panel, not me, but the panel here, will have to carry the load for, at least up until Thanksgiving at this point in time in your mind? What do you think?
Yeah, I think it'll be an interesting task for all of us overall being co-hosts. But, I think, we can get the job done, especially with Eric being the host. He has a bright mind. So we'll definitely, be in good hands overall. As you brought up before, many times when we have had, accidents on here, he stepped in, he took over and done a great job. So leave it all up to the man in Chicago, Eric. He knows how to get the job done.
Not Chicago.
Eric's blushing. He doesn't kind of quite like all the air pumping into his tires. But again, so folks, to lay out the plans of the blueprint right now, what's going to be happening. So again, Monday the 10th at this point is, as of right now, our first tentative date post the Callum McClurg era. The new chapter, as of right now, tentatively starts on Monday because, again, folks, like I said, the following week after, beginning on Monday, is when my main concerns, my main jobs actually kick in. The San Diego Gulls of the American Hockey League start their season on Friday night against Tucson, the first game of the year for their 2016-17 season. The San Diego Sockers of the Indoor Soccer League I work for, they begin their season October 29th. So more so, it's also a chance for me to, again, kind of focus more on what I kind of needs to be focused on, with both college sports still going on, along with the pros kicking in as well at this point in time. And again, these four people in this hangout, of course, will be somewhat carrying the load a little bit once things are all said and done at this point in time once more. Guys, I do now want to get to this letter I did write. Again, it was more of a genuine sort of, both a rekindling of what's happening and some shout-outs, of course, to people that really do deserve these, whether you're going to blush or not. The first people I do need to, of course, shout out, and I already have already, is these four fabulous, incredible, hardworking, intelligent, dedicated fans that, of course, sit alongside me every single night, whether you're here 7 days a week or 5 days a week, I should say, or once in a blue moon. But again, Eric, Crystal, Shorty, Rap, Marquez, if you're watching us somewhere down there at LSU, guys, really thank you. Of course, you guys give your time to join the panel each and every night, whether it's early, like it's kind of been at 9 o'clock, or if we're up late, or you're up late, of course, in your time zone, and you come on here and you're gracious enough to share your thoughts, give your input on the sport that we all love in this hangout. So obviously, as we know, it takes a full team effort at any sport, to win games on the court, playoff series, championships, or whatnot. But everyone here, of course, your hard work, your dedication, every night, not only makes everyone involved better, but it makes like our genuine team effort, I guess, that much better as well. Because whenever I click off and we sign off, guys, and that off air button comes up, anytime that we do that, that's a win, for us in my mind. And, there's never a night, though, either where you guys don't cease to amaze me either. You guys bring a wealth of knowledge, your analysis for you guys not really being in the broadcast or announcing field. It makes me better as a host to kind of, I guess, ask questions, or even makes you guys better. But, you also contribute as well, as we've already seen a couple times with, someone will chime in before I go back to me to bring up something else, but you'll either echo someone's statement or you'll bring up something else to bring up. So as I already said, though, too, guys, during the time I'm away for a bit, I can kind of a little bit easier knowing that I've put all my faith and my trust into this team that I built and put together along with Marquez, of course, as opposed to many nights, before, guys, where we wouldn't have been able to do this, and you guys, as mentioned, have stepped up in many big-time situations, and, this is your chance to show what you guys can do, as already mentioned, and you guys have definitely earned the opportunity. So I guess, Shorty, kind of reading over at least your guys' side of the story with the first, I guess, of a few people I had to, of course, thank for the effort. But again, we got, a couple guys that write, we have, former basketball players in here, super fans, whatnot. But I guess, Shorty, at least to you, Shorty, starting with you, but, thank you for, of course, coming on here whenever you get the chance.
Oh, man, I really appreciate it. I try to do my best in any way I can. regardless if it's, broadcasting with the rest of you guys on the panel, each and every night, or, writing articles, for our blog page, or, updating our social pages as well. I just try to contribute in any way I can.
Reagan, I know that, of course, you're hounded by classes, you're hounded by, your work schedules too, and of course, time change doesn't really work in your favor too with, us being based in San Diego or in the Pac time zone. But, hey, I have someone that I can talk soccer with on this panel. That's you every now and then, whether it's NWSL or what have you. But I know that we see every now and then rap, but hey, thanks for not only that, but also being able to bring your basketball knowledge and your playing experience too as well to our panel as well when you get the chance.
It's really no problem. Kind of slacked off a little bit over the summer and until now, but you'll be seeing my face on here a lot more, hopefully.
Crystal, I give anyone props that, would be able to write a story and then share it, of course, as we did with the second installment of the one-on-one show where you had kind of talked about, what was kind of an up and down summer for you last year. And I know I think we all have, none of our win percentages are perfect. We all have either made mistakes or we've gone through hardship in our lives. But Crystal, for you to be able to write it out and then go through the entire program about what I thought was one of the better performances we see on the network. And of course, you also being still going to the gym when you have time, of course, after you get done with the program, you're there till at least midnight our time or what have you. But Crystal, thank you as well for being able to come aboard too and bring on, your playing experience too, and all of the comical relief you give all of us as well, because I know some of us here are a little bit too serious when we take our job. But what do you think?
First of all, Reagan, you don't want this one-on-one problem. Like, you don't. Second, I appreciate it. I can't see right now. There's an eyelash in my eye, so you have to bear with me. But
oh my God.
But yeah, I appreciate it. It's cool. Life is like a quilt. We go through things and you know how quilts show they're supposed to represent. Hold on, bear with me, y'all. You know how they're supposed to represent different pictures that you look back on. Well, that's how my summer was. It's pretty much just another picture added to the quilt that I can look back on and smile and say that I made it. And this is me trying to get deep, and they're laughing at me, but this is like a real life lesson. It's okay. It's okay. Reagan's going to get these one-on-one problems, and Eric is just Eric. It's okay. They don't have to listen to my message. But just know that you can make it through anything if you persevere and push through.
And I will also say, too, Crystal is the best person to hang out with, too, at Sparks games that I've at least gone to, at least my solo trip to L.A. back in September. She was nice enough to come get me in my hotel. We drove over to Staples. We had dinner together when I was up there back in September. So, KT as well, thanks for that as well, for helping a friend out as well. That was also awesome.
You're welcome. See, now you already have people. You have people in my DMs ask me to bring them some donuts.
Oh, famous.
No, it's not like that. It's just that I don't know how they know, man. They're just like, oh, you're so nice. Can you get us some donuts? And I'm just like, yes, no, maybe, but you're welcome. You're welcome.
Just don't eat popcorn next week because I'm going to move that thing out of the way like it was a couple of years ago. Eric, of course, I look to you. Like I said, you're basically, my right-hand man, basically, of course, when we've had problems either with, internet dropping here or, as I said, with me kind of going away for a couple days, either with friends out to a Padres game or when I went with my brother and my dad to the home run derby. And you're like, you know what? Let's talk hoops tonight. He can have his fun, but let's get down to business. And that's the thing I probably credit you more of as well, along with also being somewhat of a media member, of course, writing for Fast Break, of course. And that's one of the main sites I do read every now and then. And of course, Eric, you're going to be the man in charge. And I'll tell you what, there is no better choice for me right now to leave the keys to the engine better than you right now. But also, of course, Eric, thanks as well, of course, for not only auditioning and coming out and helping out when, of course, we had the rebrand, but also for as well staying up late too, back there in the Central Time Zone.
Well, thank you for having me on. It's a lot of fun.
A lot of fun indeed. Next group, folks, as well as many of our great WNBA women's basketball media members in regards to. If any of you guys watch this, thank you to those folks who we have been able to interact with, not just me, but all of us here. This is kind of from all of us here, not just me, but also from all of us. We greatly appreciate, those of you who have interacted with us via social media, or you've come onto our network to share your professional opinions on the league and the sport itself. Not only have we, been able to enjoy your presence on air, though, but it's been, also a great experience too, extraordinary experience too, of being able to network and form new connections. That was a line I took from Eric when he had talked about on his one-on-one show about, meeting all these people. That we've been able to, form these connections with you guys, whether you're credentialed or you're a freelance writer. And I'm also sure, though, that a lot of professional sports leagues, or professional sports writers in other leagues would not want to waste their time coming onto a fan-run podcast as we are. But you all have been gracious enough to spend a few minutes with us, or even a few hours. I'm looking at you. We're talking to you, Mr. Mike Peterson, of course, who came on for almost 2 hours, along with Marquez, back in May for our season preview show. And you've joined us too, whether it's been a big event, such as our preview shows or the WNBA draft. All of us here wholeheartedly appreciate your time and to contribute to the network, either on social media or whenever you've come aboard. We look forward to having more and more on you, more and more of you guys on sometime soon. And again, Shorty, I think though that the emphasis I put on though was, not many times though would many other professional writers, announcers take the time to either invest their time into a fan-run podcast or let alone join a fan podcast. We've had, of course, with many of our great people. Shorty, how important, I guess, is that role, or that bridge built, though, in regards to we have allowed media members to kind of, kind of add a little more professional class to our shows every so often?
I mean, I think it's great because it's allowing and also adding, different opinions, different perspectives on the panel. And, I think that's great because, again, it just adds, different perspective instead of, sadly, people hearing Crystal's voice and views all day. They can hear from other media members and panel members. So I think it's a great thing for the network.
So again, Crystal, I know that we've, interacted so many times with so many great people that are, that either freelance or, work on their own time as we somewhat do for the WNBA, or we have people that are full-time writers, full-time broadcasters. Of course, we've reached out to many great names out there, but of course, schedules have not been in their favor. But again, Crystal, I guess what are your thoughts about sort of that bridge being built, though, where, media members, actually do take the time to actually talk to fans on a podcast like this, or a show like this, I should say?
Well, I'm quitting since Shorty just threw me so much. I'm getting in my week notice, and I'm out of here. No, I think it's cool. I think it's cool. A lot of places like this don't really interact with the people that's writing in. It's kind of more like they're in a glass house, so they're just on the outside looking in. But I think we give them a chance to voice their opinion and them a chance to get to know us. It's I don't know whenever we're going to do that Twitter Q&A thing, but I've already been asked quite a few crazy questions. Thanks a lot, Shorty and Marquez.
Oh goodness.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of cool to keep the fans, I guess, inside of our conversations.
Eric, I think back as well plenty of times, and, of course, I kind of took one of your lines, of course, from your one-on-one show where you'd said, this is a great way for, fans and media to both, come together, mesh as a unit, but also network with people that are in your field, such as, the writers and the broadcasters and the announcers that we have, of course, been able to either talk to or meet via social media. But I guess, Eric, how important is it, again, like Crystal brought up, though, as well, that these people have welcomed us with open eyes and open arms in regards to, being able to give up their time to join a fan-run podcast where another leagues, Eric, that would probably never happen. Seeing, professional working media members actually join a podcast or a show run by fans itself.
Yeah, I think it just shows how much respect they have for fellow fans and how they realize, and that they realize how important it is to network and help grow the sport by. What I want to say, by just joining on different fan-based social media platforms.
I mean, there's a lot of people we could say, folks. We'd probably be here for a good other hour, probably just name-dropping all of our colleagues that we've had on here. Now, folks, to all the players who have watched or interacted with the program, as you guys may know, of course, we have to pull a lot of strings most times to get these players onto our program. We have to go through, the team PR and team media relations staffs to schedule a time and stuff, and that normally takes, weeks, days and weeks to schedule that. sometimes. But however, though, players though have been able, folks, to interact with us over social media. They've interacted with us, whether they have followed us on Twitter, they followed our Instagram accounts, or when we've actually had players on, such as when our good pal Anila Khan was able to get both Derek Hamby and Ruth Hamblin on during draft day this past season, and they've been able to be on the program. Of course, for the players that have been out there, we fans, we panel members that are on the show, we know what you guys go through in regards, you're always pushing, you're striving for respect and equality with other pro sporting leagues, in the press, and with average sports fans. I guess if there's like a word of advice I have would just be, always know that the true fans of this league, all of us here and all the fans that go to your games, we'll always be on the front lines defending the sport and the league that you guys play in every day. And all we can ask is that you keep doing what you do. And we'll sit here and we'll keep talking about how good you guys are playing, your team, and everything else going on around the league and the sport all day, every day. And again, Shorty, I know that we've had more social media interaction with players on the network so far. At least we've had, of course, we had Derek Hamby and Ruth Hamblin take, about a good 5 or 10 minutes out of their time to be a part of our network on draft day. And then we've had players follow us across the league on Instagram or Twitter. Shorty, I guess, what does that kind of say to you, though, that a fan-run podcast, though, is actually getting respect amongst the players of the league itself more than just the fans and media members?
I mean, I think it's very great, because this network was designed to, reach out to other fans and players alike, to continue to spread the word about the WNBA and, just give our thoughts and viewpoints. And for them to want to be a part of this network, it's a really great thing. And it shows how, how far along this network is progressing as a whole.
Again, Crystal, obviously, I think the one follow that still kind of sticks out of my mind was when Candace Parker's dad followed the network originally in 2014, a day after my interview with Candace Parker, of course, we've talked about who knows how many times on here. That's like the one that would kind of still sticks out in my mind was, you know that you did something right if you have a player's parent following the network or following your Twitter account page, and that was it still is a bit of a shock to me. But again, Crystal, we've had 2 players on. We've had numerous players or some players either watch us live and they've tweeted into us. I should say too that when we first launched our IG account, guys, our first follower was actually Plannette Pearson from the Dallas Wings. So I guess, Crystal, to kind of piggyback off Shorty's question, what does it, I guess, kind of mean to you? Again, seeing or knowing that players have either interacted with us or watched us, and again, seeing them, I guess, kind of build a bridge too to kind of appreciate what fans actually want to bring to the table on this network.
Ooh, I hope those players that watch and follow there aren't April Sites or Friday Obby, because boy, I be getting in on them. Ooh, I can't get the links to these because they gonna hate me. But I think it's cool. I think for those the players that do follow, thank you for following. You're awesome, no matter what team you're on. Even if you're in Minnesota, you're still cool with me. But I think, like Shorty said, this is a media thing for them. This is what we want them to see. This is what we want them to watch, and we hope that more players and people in media do watch this. So I think it's pretty cool.
Again, Eric, I think one of the players on the Sky, Imani Boyette, followed us a while back too on the network. She was actually one of the players, or the player that actually retweeted when we gave you a shout out because you were actually in the Chicago Sky's sites of the game from your courtside spot, and Imani actually retweeted that out. So I thought, that's pretty cool right there, and obviously you two have had many Twitter conversations, plenty of times, some pretty good stuff to check out, of course. And I guess, Eric, I guess what does that, kind of say to you again, that players are, that they're able to, be human, of course, and, either talk to you on social media or even in some cases, Eric, either come on the network or even check us out sometimes when we are live on air.
Yeah, that's one of the things that really drew me to the WNBA in the first place, is that the players care so much about the fans and that they're so accessible to the fans. And yeah, that's just another case of them really showing their appreciation and showing that, yeah, they're just human. They're athletes, but they're so down to earth and they really care about their fans, so they just interact with them. I think it's really cool.
Well, folks, last but certainly not least, that includes the 3 people in this hangout, along with Reagan and Marquez, and also just everyone else. But this is written out to the entire WNBA and women's basketball fan community. Thank you very much for allowing myself and also allowing us to be a pretty intricate part of the community. it is not often in professional sports that you can actually make friends. And Eric and I mean this both when we say legitimate friends with people who don't share the same rooting interest in a team as you do. From all of us in Los Angeles to Phoenix, Seattle to Minneapolis, Atlanta to New York, Chi-Town to Indy, etc. This is by far the best fan community I have ever been a part of, ever. You know, every day you see things that you probably would never see happen or will never see happen in other pro sports, is actually having engaging conversations, not just about the sport itself, but life, reality television, other sports you watch, with people that, you know, live states away from you and don't root for the same team. You know, what other sports league folks will you find where you can have these types of conversations, you know, on the daily grind, except for maybe this entire community? Obviously, whenever the bell rings and our teams do play each other, we'll bicker, we'll argue, and we will have some heated discussion and debate about the game. But when everything settles, when the dust does settle, there's enough common sense in this fan base to say, hey, good game today, respect, good luck to you guys next go-around. Not resorting to levels we've seen in other pro sports where fans are killed or left for dead because of who they root for. Plus, you can catch up with these people, too, when you either go to games, and even if you go to games sometimes, you get to actually meet these people, a la myself and Crystal going to games and seeing each other there, or myself and my friend Jess from Reno at the Phoenix game this past May. You know, all I got to say is to this fan base and this sport, please never change. I mean, everyone epitomizes how amazing professional sports fans can truly be, and not resorting to what they shouldn't be, which is, of course, you know, what we've seen in other sports leagues. And I know, Shorty, that we've had a lot of banter back and forth. Everyone's getting geared up for the postseason. Of course, what we have seen, of course, over the past maybe 48 hours on social media. But Shorty, at least, though, this is never, you know, that this hasn't, nor will it ever, sort of cross that invisible line. You know, there's that fine line. So, you know, there's that fine line you walk in life, you know, whether you're being, you know, somewhat objective or unprofessional in areas. But Shorty, this is like another instance, though, of stuff not boiling over, and where we're going to have a bunch of riots on our hands between, you know, fan base and fan base. Shorty, I guess, you know, what are your overall thoughts, I guess, on really, truly how remarkable this fan community, how approachable all the fans are across the whole league for the WNBA and for women's basketball in your mind?
I mean, I think I said once before that it is, you know, a niche sport. So, you know, because this is a minor league, you know, the fans are going to have that togetherness, even though recently, due to the finals coming up, you know, we have back and forth between Lynx and Sparks fans that is already occurring in my mentions, but that's another situation in itself. But overall, I mean, we may trash talk and it may get heated, but, you know, it never goes to an extent where, you know, people want to drive and fight people, or people threaten to burn someone's cat or something. So it's never going to get that crazy. But overall, you know, we
burn somebody's cat.
But overall, you know, we have that tight knit because we are a niche sport. So we have that togetherness overall.
You know, and again, Crystal, I mean, this was kind of like my way to kind of like detour away kind of sort of from what has happened. Now, obviously, I'm not going to beat around the bush, obviously. But, you know, like I said, Crystal, when the bell rings, you know, when the game does start, you know, you put aside your friendships. Crystal, I'm sure that you played against your friends plenty of times, whether it was in high school or what have you. I know you did the same exact thing, Crystal, is once that bell sounds or once the game starts, you know, you put all that aside. And once the game does end, you can go back to being, you know, friends and stuff like that. But again, Crystal, you know, it's not pretty much, like I said, you know, not every day where you can, you know, talk with somebody who lives, you know, miles and miles away from you, you know, who may not root for the same teams, but he can still have, you know, a professional, solid one-on-one conversation about something happening other than just basketball. And, you know, like I said, too, again, you know, we've seen it, you know, we've had a little trash talk, a little smack talk going on. I think, Crystal, it hasn't crossed that line, though, of, you know, of it getting out of control. It's probably gotten close, Crystal. But at the end of the day, though, KT has not gotten close. And, you know, once it's all, you know, and I can see it now that once the finals are over with, you know, that everything is going to be back to normal up until, you know, May or June rolls around. But I guess, Crystal, What are your thoughts, I guess, on how really close-knit and how really, how fantastic this fan base truly is to all of us?
Well, believe it or not, I am not involved in the trash talk. I'm steering clear from that.
Okay.
No, I seriously, it's all Shorty and everybody else.
Okay.
But I think it's cool. Like you said, normally, altogether, this fan base, it could be 50-50, but for the most part, everybody keeps it kind of respectful, and they try not to take it to the next level. And I think that's the cool thing about it. And like you said, it brings us together with other WNBA fans. I mean, if it wasn't for this, I wouldn't have never met Mr. Eric Nimchok. And I would say for that aspect, it does bring you closer to other fans and potential friends as well.
Eric, I think back to 2013 when I had started trying to find WNBA followers on Twitter, and the first two I found were the two next to you to the right in the panel box. That was Shorty and Crystal, the first two I found. And ever since then, it's ballooned to, pretty much all of Los Angeles, Phoenix fans, Minnesota fans, Seattle fans, and I've got my small little circle of friends, yourself included too, from Chicago. But again, Eric, I know that you brought this up though too as well, perhaps on your one-on-one show. But I guess, Eric, how special of a fan base in your mind really is the WNBA fan base? Because again, you're probably not going to find any more classier, more welcoming fan base than our community, than what we have right here and what we built.
I totally agree. I think for the most part, WNBA fans are really cool. I've ever since I became a season ticket holder, I've met a lot of great people at the games and online and on Google Hangouts. So, Crystal, you're welcome. I think that just, again, it speaks to the accessibility of the sport, where the fans aren't necessarily always going at each other's throats. I think I've seen a few instances lately where that's been the case. So let's just simmer down, take it down a notch, please. But yeah, no, it's really cool.
Yeah, no, Eric, I agree. Obviously, heat of the moment, of course, it happens in sports. I mean, that's with any sport, of course, guys. Stuff like this is going to happen. But again, like I said, it has not gotten, to boiling point yet, where we've had, something, where it's exploded out of nowhere. We got a mushroom cloud over our league, but at the same time, it's heat of the moment. But again, there never has been and never will be another, classier, more welcoming, more diverse, more friendly sports fan base, not just sport, but fan base in general, than our great friends in the WNBA. I speak for myself, of course, from Los Angeles, as an LA fan, but speak, though, to all of my friends who are Merc fans and Storm fans and Lynx fans, and, of course, Eric being our resident Sky fan, too, and across the whole league. But with that, though, folks, I think we have gone past our cliff here of time. With that, folks, to reiterate once more, again, as of Monday, tentative again, as of Monday again, but following tonight's program, you will be seeing a brand new hosting rotation beginning whenever the new panel decides to get things up and running, because, again, I will be away for at least up until Thanksgiving due to home improvement. A little bit of a caveat from one of my favorite TV shows back in the 90s, but also because we're getting a lot of work done here and also trying to improve our product folks, from home base, but also as well due to work constraints too with hockey and indoor soccer season for the guy down here in San Diego, starting up as of this Friday. With that, Shorty, how about your overall final thoughts on what's coming up for the network? Because there are bigger and brighter days coming up, and again, we are gearing up for the future come Monday. Shorty, final thoughts on tonight's program, the last one here from Studio 171, and also what the future will hold for the network for the next upcoming few weeks.
Well, I'm definitely going to miss you as a co-host. I mean, not co-host, but main host for the time being. You've really done a great job, riding the ship. Of course, this was your original idea in the first place. So, I'm definitely going to miss you being the main host of the panel. But again, I'm happy about Eric, taking things over once again. We trust in him. We think he's going to do a great job. So, just here's to the news changes that is coming about. And what I mean by here is I'm doing my invisible toast with my invisible champagne cup and champagne. So here's an invisible toast to the new beginning so far.
Maybe the world's smallest 90-calorie Sprite can could be my toast to the new panel, I think. We'll just go with that for the time being. Again, Crystal, overall thoughts once more. Obviously, Crystal, I'll take a line from you from last night or from our last show, of course. You feel like a proud parent, sending off your kid to college. That's kind of like how I feel sending off my 2-year-old son or daughter, my network, again, my 2-year-old baby, off to you guys, of course, to kind of be babysat for the next couple of weeks. But again, Crystal, there's enough faith and trust left from me for all you guys once more, as I've said. But I guess, Crystal, overall thoughts on the new chapter starting for the network, at least come Monday at this point?
Well, for one, since I'm good, clean, and wholesome, I'm toasting with water.
Lame.
And for two, I don't know if you want to leave a 2-year-old baby with any of these people on the panel. I don't know if they can.
Wow.
Including you.
But yeah, I mean, pretty much this going off what Shorty said. It's we're gonna miss you. This is gonna be a challenge, but it should be fun. I think we're all creative and we'll all have some pretty cool ideas, and we promise nothing will get broken in the process. No babies, no computer screens, no buttons, no nothing. But I think this is going to be fun. This is going to be a joyful ride, and let's get creative.
Okay, Eric, I kind of feel bad now that they're putting all this pressure on you, and I feel like I'm doing that too. It's like the pressure is kind of like it's like watching someone crush a Bud Light can in slow motion right now. But again, Eric, obviously, how about final thoughts, final take, I guess, again, on what's going to be a new chapter starting for the network? You're going to be the guy in charge for a couple weeks. But again, final take, final thoughts, Eric, or what?
I'm looking forward to it. Quick disclaimer, we don't really know what the schedule is going to look like yet, because while Callan is making money, I will be losing money because I'm going to grad school, and it's a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of work. So this might not be a nightly thing, but we'll see. Schedules permitting. Schedules will be really flexible, hopefully. Don't leave your 2-year-old with Crystal. It's a bad idea. I toasted water.
Same thing.
I'm still going with the Sprite can. Sorry. Eric, anything further?
Oh, anything further? Yeah, it's been a lot of fun with having you as the host, and just looking forward to the next step.
Next chapter, indeed. Well, folks, I think the time has come at this point in time. 2 years and 7 months and 13 days is how long we've been on air. That is 328 shows to be exact, and I have been in charge of every single one. It's either solo with a full panel or doing shows at the last minute when we've had problems. But again, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a sincere honor, a privilege, a blessing, for that matter, to have been able to be here for as long as, of course, we have. Like I've said, who knows how many times at this point. But, folks, truly, I am truly humbled. I'm really appreciative and honored and privileged and really blessed for everything to have been able to come in and either be visible on your computer screens, on your phone, on your TV for that matter. I've had a few people say that they've actually watched us on their televisions a few times. But again, folks, the time has come, though, for us to flip the page and start a brand new chapter for the WNBA 365 network here, folks. Man, with that, ladies and gentlemen, as we get to 10:15 on the West Coast, one final time, ladies and gentlemen, for Eric Nimchok in Elmhurst, Illinois, and for the SoCal tag team of Crystal Thomas and Tanisha Stewart, and for our two people that were here but could not be here tonight, for Reagan Patrick and Marquez Anderson. For the final time, folks, Campbell Clerk signing off from Studio 171 in San Diego, California. Until the next time, folks, I see you, which is right now, as of right now, tentatively set for November 20th. Boy, oh boy, it's a long time for me to be away from you guys. But until then, folks, have a safe night. Drive home safely. Thanks for stopping by and joining us. And thank you for 328 shows and for 2 years of great times here on the WNBA 365 network. Until then, folks, I'm stepping aside for them. Up until then, folks, good night, and see you next time in the near future. Good night, and bye-bye.